In today's video, we're going to be going over how to create a string array using BizWeaver for specific APIs. Now, a string array is a comma delimited list of values within JSON. Some APIs require this in order to update a specific object within the API. In this case, it's going to be fulfillment. And we're using the Shopify API. Now, the Shopify API doesn't specifically require string arrays, but one of the functions or one of the options within the Shopify API is you can send multiple tracking numbers to an order to update it. So you can update a partial fulfillment or the whole order, or if there's multiple tracking numbers assigned to that single order. So the first thing we're going to do is just going to grab the relevant information for the orders that need to be sent. In this case, it's just a simple getting our orders from ODLN that have tracking numbers, which you can see we have 4 order numbers that need to be fulfilled with 2 items each with the same tracking number for each one. We're going to then loop through those by connecting that as a linked object to our get deliveries tool. And it's going to loop through each one of those individually. And we're going to then grab a single item from each of those orders. Now to do that, we need to specify in our where clause, the baseline, the base ref, and the tracking number. So we only get one. And if we test run, we can see we have the relevant information for the order that we need. Now the reason we're doing this is because when we create the string array, the current limitation is that we can only create the string array with one item in the array at a time, which works fine for this because since this is designed to work with partial deliveries, we can send multiple requests to the same order ID to update it via the API. Now, what we're going to do then is we're going to take our data builder tool and we're just going to build the relevant JSON needed to do that. So we're going to connect that to the single delivery tool. We're going to select JSON. This is going to be a top level element. And what this does is just every time we loop through this, it's going to clear out this and create a brand new JSON. This is just because we're specifically targeting one item and one tracking number each time. And we're going to take our location ID, which is specific to the Shopify API, the tracking numbers, which in this case we can collect by pressing F4 and going to the single delivery SQL command tool and then selecting tracking number and pressing OK, and it'll populate that field there. This next is an array that we build in the next step, which I can show you because this is our header JSON, and this would be the details of what we're trying to update. And then the notified customer is required for the Shopify API. I just set that to true. So we're going to hit OK and go to the next step. So the next step only requires us to get our ID and quantity, and it's the same basic idea as getting the item code from our single deliveries or single delivery SQL step. And to do that, once again, you press F4, you go to single deliveries, and then you select item coding, press OK. And the same thing for the quantity, and you can see it's built out over here on the left. We're going to add this as an array. Once again, JSON, and it's gonna have the object name of line underscore items. Now, once again, to go back to the fulfillment data builder tool, we're going to then add that to this, and it's going to populate in here as an array as we step through this. So you can see if we drop down this field type, you can see line items added to this to be added to the header JSON as an array. So this will get built out as a JSON array. And you can actually, say if there's multiple you wanted to send through, you can put this specific one inside a loop, and it will keep adding and building that array, adding it to your header, without any issue, basically creating a JSON specific to what you're trying to do. In this case, we only need one array because we're only doing one item at a time. The next item, or the next tool we're going to do, is another SQL tool, and then we're just using a replace function that is native to SQL, and we're going to take our cumulative data from our fulfillment or data builder fulfillment step, which is to get that, once again, you press F4, you go to data builder fulfillment and cumulative data. Now, what cumulative data is is it actually is the completely built out JSON that is ready to be submitted to or through the API. So what this is, you're actually adding this completely built JSON string in the SQL command and we're going to replace specific items in it. So we're actually going to replace the tracking number, and what the actual data builder tool does when it builds JSON is it's going to put double quotes on the outside of our brackets, and then it's going to put the value in, and then it's going to put the brackets and a double quote. So we don't want that for an array, especially a string array. We're going to want the double quotes on the inside. So we're just going to replace the value where the brackets, the tracking number with the brackets on the inside with the quote bracket value. We're going to replace that with bracket quote value and then quote bracket on the end. And that's going to create our complete string array. Or it's going to properly create the string array for the JSON that we need to submit through the API. So the next step is we're going to get our web service tool, and we're going to put our proper API call. In this case, we're going to use the fulfillments API to post that to Shopify. In this case, we're going to select the order number needed to update. So we're going to go to our variables. We're going to select order ID, and that's going to populate automatically or dynamically every time we loop through this. If the order ID changes, it's going to update that, and it's going to send that specific order ID, the specific item, and the specific quantity with the tracking number that's being updated. Now this, once again, is to update a specific, or it's going to be a partial update to an order if there's multiple items on it, but the Shopify API will actually accept that because you can accept partial fulfillment on an order. The next step, we're just going to put an end loop for our delivery, and then we're going to put end the workflow, and then we're going to save this. Now, once again, this is a workaround for creating string arrays within BizWeaver. There's actually going to be added functionality soon where you don't have to actually do this workaround, and it will work natively with the data builder. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. Otherwise, see you in the next video.